Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com on this Thursday, September 14, 2017, an hour before the opening bell. S&P 500 futures pulling back a little bit. For the record, anyone calling a top for this market since the dawn of man at yesterday's close was wrong, as we closed at an all-time record high for the S&P 500. NASDAQ, the market continues to move to the upside, and you've seen since the lows of March 2009, been a lot of reasons to sell. Look at this. This was a head and shoulders pattern, yeah. Head and shoulders patterns, any kind of bearish pattern for this market has now. Here's another one that did not work well either. If you look, the market continues the trend to the upside. Why fight it? One widely followed pundit said, "Hey, trade of 2017. Let's short the Nasdaq." Why? Why short the Nasdaq? Well, because it was already up this much, so it can't go up any higher, can it? Well, 15% later. So the Nasdaq, although down 0.2%, maybe now's the time to call the top. Who knows? But the trend remains to the upside with this market. The VIX, every time it pops, it gets beaten down. We had a new all-time record low for the VIX this year. And despite the lack of volatility we saw, especially yesterday, the VIX is over the 10 level. We're up by 2.86%. But still, it's just really muted levels, and you can see it in the action. It's just sideways. If you stepped away yesterday, the SPY was at 250. When you were there, you came back, it was still at 250. It's just not moving. After lunch, we're in like a 2 or 3 cent range. A stunning lack of volatility, which implies what? Perfectly priced equities, right? Perfectly priced. I mean, if it's not moving anywhere, that's in equilibrium. It's exactly what people want to buy it for and what people want to sell it for. This market, the central banks have created a nirvana, just this market that just is so perfectly priced, it can't move anywhere. Amazing, isn't it? Speaking of moving, though, we do have the IDWM, the small caps, moving to the upside, back in the channel. You draw a channel here, back in the channel again. We had the 2016 low. Remember, this was supposed to be the end of the bull market here. And then we launched up. Remember, the election. That was going to kill it. We were down 9 days in a row for the SP 500, 8 for the IWM. Now, IWM was first to reverse on that Friday before the election, rocketed higher on that Monday, and then, of course, Wednesday. And the rest is history as we hit new all-time record highs in the small caps. And again, we pulled back just a couple weeks ago. And once we hit that nadir, boom, reverse to the upside. We're back in the channel. S&P 500 ETF, the spiders, again, continues to break to the upside. Now hanging out, look at that 250 level up there. And if you look from a shorter term perspective, look at the lack of volatility in this market. Unbelievable. Look in the afternoon, we're at 250, and then someone finally hit the buy button and said, let's close this at new all-time record highs. QQQ, the NASDAQ, similar lack of volatility, and then a ramp to the upside. Same thing we saw on Wednesday with the Apple, Tuesday with the Apple release, the late day rally. Yesterday was Wednesday. Today is Thursday. Yeah, I'm trying to get my day straight. Let's go over some charts real quick. Tree. Do you remember Lending Tree back at the start of the year was a $100 stock? My goodness, look at it now. What a move to the upside we're seeing for Lending Tree. A beautiful wedge pattern. I mean, you could, when I drew this, I was like, oh, maybe another 30, 40% to the upside, maybe. I mean, but look at it now. It's just an unbelievable move out of this wedge to the upside. More than doubling this year. That's Tree, Lending Tree. Another stock on the move this year. NVIDIA breaking to the upside, although pulling back a little bit. Bitcoin's pulling back for the second day, and that might have something to do with it. We have Twitter, which is actually seeing some really sharp call volume the last couple weeks. Some even going out to $37 calls in January 2019. You can see it starting to move really Twitter to the upside, possibly finding a bottom here, at least short term. You can see the move up probably up to the 20 level to fill this gap before we run into some overhead resistance, but it could take a couple more weeks to get there. And Snap looks like it's flagging here. We bounced off the lows. This is when the lockups ended. And looks like we're going to at least come up to the 17 level, something to keep an eye on. Snap also seeing some bullish call volume recently. MU hit a new multi-year high. Chips really rolling, rock and rolling. If you pull back from a long-term perspective, it's a stock that's had a lot of big swings in the past, the internet bubble. And then heading after the financial crisis, we had to move up in 2013 to 15. And a similar kind of move we've had recently from 2016. So we look for possible resistance here at about the 36, 37 level for MU, but short-term trading for a pullback. A couple of charts to look at. How about Baidu? Baidu, what an amazing move out of these wedges. And remember, it was in this wedge I kept talking about, this wedge shaping up. And we broke out a couple false breakouts. And then finally it was like, you know, just when you've traded the call options waiting for this breakout and then you finally stop, that's what this market does to you. But a huge move to the upside. Analyst out this morning, Citigroup upgrading the target to 255 from 230 something. So it looks like it's going to continue to the upside. If you look in a shorter term time frame, breaking out of a wonderful bull flag, a consolidation here. You see the consolidation after the break, now breaking out of it to the upside. So watch that one today. BABA actually pulling back, closed at a record high. Look at that. No wick there. No wick. Closed exactly at a record high for BABA, pulling back here this morning. If you look at this chart, this is a stock that many back in 2015 when it calling it the top, helping to mark the top for the market. It was the Ali blah blah top, and it's done nothing but go up after consolidating for a couple of years. Look at this move. We've had more than doubled in 2017. So running out of steam as some of the executives and the CEO plan to sell over 21 million shares of stock. And I think that's kind of getting investors a little nervous. They're going to do it starting in October. So we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback in BABA. A couple other charts to watch. Let's look at Amazon, which is breaking back over the 1,000 level. And you can see the trend remains the friend here for Amazon, looking for new all-time record highs. Google, which is did not come down to fill the gap as I thought it would, and I think now we could possibly, this was the double top that's really set in the middle of 2017 here. Looked like it was going to come down in this gap. If the market continues up with the NASDAQ, we could see 1,000 with Google. Facebook still respecting long-term trend line support. Remember this flag that we pointed out? This looks very bullish up to 180 for Facebook if this market continues. Tesla also recovering. Remember last week on Friday down to 343. Opened with a big gap on Monday. So it looks poised here if possible. New all-time record high set up for Tesla. UPBOptionMillionaires.com. So we have the market kind of trading sideways. We have the VIX just meandering. And this market with some individual names soaring, some falling like Equifax. Equifax on the look at that decline. And also we had iRobot yesterday with a huge drop. It was funny that the previous day the 90 puts were being bought for 19 cents, and this yesterday they went for over $5. So that's a pretty nice trade. What timing? The stock was at $100 the day before. Someone bought the 90s, and over 10% move. And the next day it drops 15%. That is timing, folks. Stock options give you the opportunity, though, to make that kind of money. If you put in, say, 10 contracts at 19 cents, it's $190, and you sold them for $5. That's $5 grand from the $190. All right, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. We'll see you in the chat room. Everyone, have a great trading day.